Can I just say that as soon as the new season of Queer Eye begins on Netflix, I am just so full of motivation and happiness and love. That show is contagious as fork, and yes, I do say yes, queen, a lot more frequently, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Hi everyone, my name is Holly, and in today's video I am doing my March book haul. So I have roughly 12 books to show you in this video, and it's so sad when I try to strive for smaller book hauls to catch up on my TBR, but with arcs and sequels that are coming out, it is just absolutely impossible to do that. But let's go ahead and dive right into this book haul. I'm going to start with the 4 amazing books that were sent to me from Orbit Books, which I'm so grateful for, and the very first one is Soul Keeper by David Daglish. This came out on March 19th, and it's an adult fantasy. It's a very thick boy. The main perspective that you're following here is a man named Devin, who is a soul keeper, and they are a part of the Keeping Church. They basically travel the lands to aid and heal people, and they even perform marriage ceremonies. They oversee reaping rituals, and they even offer protection from bandits to local villages. So as Soul Keeper, Devin is tasked to go to this town that is rumored to have a disease that is spreading amongst the population, but obviously when he gets there, there is a much more darker act at play. I'm so excited to get to this one. I adore the cover, and I've heard really good things about it from fellow reviewers. And that spine is so pretty. The next book that I have here is a gorgeous hard copy of The Witch's Kind by Louisa Morgan. This book also released on March 19th, so there is no waiting for it whatsoever, and it's a historical fantasy all about witches. And I've also heard that there is a very prominent LGBTQ plus character in this, which is great. The story actually jumps back and forth through the 1930s and 1940s, so through the past and present, and we're told of a story about a woman named Barry who lives on this farm, and it's very isolated, and she is mourning the loss of her husband and her child. And then in the past, we are following the same woman but much younger, and she is coming of age, and we get to see her through college and getting married and her trying to survive World War II. And all the while through her life, she has her aunt Charlotte, who is by her side. Well, some very strange things begin to happen, and the very first one being a mysterious baby just appearing, and the next one is the sudden appearance of Barry's long lost husband, who is not at all what he used to be. I'm getting Pet Cemetery vibes. So Barry and Charlotte are trying to decide how far they should go to protect themselves from suspicious neighbors and the government and even their own family. I love fantasy books that can add so many different elements into it that you normally wouldn't expect, and this hardcover is pretty gorgeous sitting on my shelves, and I want to pick it up so badly. And the naked hardcover is this pretty purple color as well. And the third book that Orbit sent me was 16 Ways to Defend a Walled City by KJ Parker, and this fantasy comes out on April 9th. All I really know about this book is that it's written by a really awesome author who has written so many series and trilogies and standalones, and that it tells the tale of a siege of a walled city and the man who had to defend it. It sounds like it's going to be written with such rich history and culture, and it's also not very long either, and I love the details on this cover. I love this design right here, and the spine is really pretty too. I do permanently plan to pick this one up next month, and I say permanently because we all know how we plan to read a book a certain month and then we don't, but I actually will be getting to this one very soon. And the final book that I got from Orbit this month is A Time of Blood by John Gwen. This is the sequel to A Time of Dread, which I actually have back here in this corner, and that one came out last year, and this one is coming out on April 16th. It's a high fantasy series that has become very loved among reviewers. Seriously, the ratings for this series is like 5 stars across the board. It actually takes place within the same world as the Faithful and the Fallen series, which was John Gwen's previous series. How many times do I have to say series in this video? I apologize. The first book is set in the world of the Banished Lands, where warrior angels protect humans from their enemies, so basically like a demon race. It sounds rad and I'm excited to get to it. So up next I have We Are Okay and Hold Still by Nina LaCour. These two books were sent to me unsolicited from Penguin Random House, and honestly I wasn't even going to mention them because you guys know I'm not into YA contemporary, but I always want to be honest with you and I want you guys to know what books I have coming in and what books I have going out, and I don't want to be selfish just in case you guys would be interested in these, because this channel isn't just about me, it's also about you guys, so I thought I would still mention them. But I will mention this is a YA contemporary that I might, and that's a big might, be able to get behind because they are so freaking short. They completely rebranded Hold Still, which is Nina LaCour's much older book, and We Are Okay came out in 2017, but they rebranded them so that they match, and I think they look great together. I believe these books are pretty depressing, focusing on the topic of grief, so just be warned, you may be quite a bit sad when you read these, and I don't want you guys to be sad. But for real, I can definitely see myself reading these because of how short they are. I don't have to spend too much time in contemporary. I feel like those are gonna fall, but we're going to ignore it for now. So now on to the books that I bought myself this month. The first one being A Priest of Bones by Peter McLean. This is the first book in the War of the Rose Throne series, and it's an adult fantasy that's categorized as grimdark, so my brand. It's basically a story set in this really grim and brutal world where crime lords are fighting over turf. It's actually being compared to The Godfather, but set in a world where the weapon of choice is swords and axes, which sounds freaking amazing. The main protagonist that we're following is a man named Thomas, who is a conscripted army priest, and he is returning home from war with a ragtag group of soldiers to reclaim the city that he used to run in the shadows. I absolutely love stories that have to deal with some type of ragtag group of mercenaries, and if we get to know all of their personalities, I will easily fall in love with this book. It's also short as fork, and the second one is coming out soon, so yay. So let's switch it up just a little bit and mention an ebook that I bought this month, and that is In Shadows We Fall by Devin Madsen. I rarely buy ebooks, and that's the reason why I never mention them, but I spotted this one for only 99 cents, and it's a book that I've been interested in reading, so it was an unbeatable price. I own another Devin Madsen book actually, and it's right here, We Ride the Storm. I have heard such amazing things about her writing, and now I own a second book of hers, and I still haven't read one. Classic. This one in particular is an adult fantasy, which is a genre I think she specializes in. It's Asian inspired, and it's actually a prequel novella to her main series, so I think this is a perfect place to start. So the next two books are really exciting, and one of the ways that I frequently buy books is by buying them through a third party on Amazon. I can find like new copies for really cheap, but it's also kind of a gamble because you really don't know what you're getting. But this series is really hard to find in hardcover, and I have another story after this actually, but I might as well show you what I'm talking about. I have book 1 and 2 of the Powder Mage trilogy by Brian McClellan. So the first one being Promise of Blood, which looks like that, and the second one being The Crimson Campaign. I don't know if they just stopped making these in hardcover. That seems to be the case with a lot of adult fantasy. My second story, Red Sister by Mark Lawrence, I have been trying my hardest to find the first edition US version of that book in hardcover, and I found one, and it's on the way, hopefully. It hasn't showed up yet, which has me a little bit worried, but it still has a few days left on its tracking, so we'll see. But I found these two in hardcover, and they're so pretty. I really wanted them to match my Sins of Empire series by him. I did not want to go with paperbacks. And I found the third one in hardcover as well. So that one should be here any day now. This is a high fantasy series that takes a lot of inspiration from the Revolutionary War, but with a very unique magic system where like powder mages are able to sniff out black powder to gain heightened abilities, which sounds freaking rad. And yes, I know this one has a sticker right here, but I can easily get that off with a hairdryer. The next one I have here is Dark of the West by Joanna Hathaway, and this is a YA fantasy that I got in my February fake Crate. This is yet another story that takes place during World War II. This book haul seems to have a theme to it. The only thing I'm really worried about this book is that it's apparently very romance focused, and that's the only thing bad about Fake Crate. I freaking adore you ladies. If one of you are watching this, you guys know I love you. But yeah, their books are normally heavily focused on romance, and obviously you guys know that's not my thing, but I'm really hoping it's just not that cringy romance that YA tends to have, and it's believable, and it's not like rushed right into it like an instant romance or a love triangle or something. But it is all about a son of a fearsome military general who has to spy on the princess. We all know where this is going. Forbidden love. It took so much of my energy to do that. And the final book I have in this book haul is a really exciting one yet again, and that is Pet Sematary by Stephen King. So I asked you guys on Instagram which Stephen King book I should start with, because I have never read a Stephen King book ever, and most of you guys said Misery, Carrie, The Shining, or Pet Sematary. So I decided, since the new version of the movie is coming out next month, that I would film a reading vlog of me reading my very first Stephen King novel. This one. I adore the original movie, and a lot of you guys keep telling me that this is fun. I don't know where the fun is happening in this, because it's a freaking horror novel. Where is the fun coming from? I don't freaking know, but I'm excited to find out. The reading vlog should be up on April, what? I'm looking at my calendar, sorry. 9th. It should be up on April 9th, so it will be a fun time. Alrighty, so that is the end of this book haul. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me down below if you have read any of these. I'm sure a lot of you have, especially like Pet Sematary or The Powder Mage. I'm very behind on these, okay? Go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed, because it helps me out so much. It really does. It helps my videos get out there into the algorithm. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. I upload videos every single week, and follow me on social media. I am on Instagram at HollyHeartsBooks and on Twitter at HollyNiece. And until we meet again, happy reading.